Hey there, how are you doing today? My name is Kenny Stahl. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Let's talk about social anxiety right now. If you have social anxiety, I want to give you guys my best advice for what you can do to take the first step to overcoming social anxiety. I've struggled with social anxiety for my whole life. I still struggle with it, so I haven't really completely overcome it, but I don't think that social anxiety is something that you can just overcome overnight. I think it's a process, and it really is all about building self-esteem. And I want to get into it right now because one of the things that social anxiety has done for me is it's made it very hard for me to be around people because I always feel like everybody's looking at me, everybody's judging me, everybody is talking about me. So it's hard for me to talk to people in groups of people because I worry that I'm going to say something and everybody's going to have like their own opinion about what I'm doing. Like when I'm at work, I can't even do like my job in front of people. Like I just feel like the spotlight is on me. So this idea of feeling like everybody's watching me all the time is really what social anxiety is like. And if you have social anxiety and this is something that you can relate to, I want to go through a few things. So I have some notes here that I want to go over because what I think is going on with social anxiety, and this is important to understand because it can help you overcome it, is that your mind is imagining a lot of times what other people are thinking about you. So this is important because it's this idea of mind reading. Now, you don't really have the ability to read anybody's mind, of course. That would be a really cool superpower to have, but you can't read people's minds. So with that being said, sometimes our mind imagines that we can read other people's minds, and we assume that we know what people are thinking about us. Now, this to me is one of the big problems in social anxiety, because people will think that they know what other people are thinking. And what I've really come to discover is that in my own life, when I struggle with social anxiety, oftentimes this is what I'm doing. I'm projecting my own insecurities onto what I think other people are thinking about me. So for instance, if I believe that I'm a loser, if I think I'm stupid, if I think I'm doing everything wrong in my life, oh my goodness, I always make mistakes, I'm a terrible person, when I'm around people, that feeling I have, all these insecurities that I have about myself, I believe that everybody else can see that. I believe that everybody else sees me the way that I see me. So I think that if you want to overcome social anxiety, the only thing to do is work on building self-esteem, building confidence in yourself, being comfortable in your own skin, so that you stop caring what other people think about you. I think that when I try to do some research and try to understand social anxiety, it tends to be the same problem over and over again, is that people are nervous around others. Like if you're going to give a speech in front of people, like you have a whole audience and you have to go give a presentation, the fear is that you're going to mess up and everybody's going to notice and they're going to think something about you. And this comes down to your own fear of your own failure and your own fear that you're going to look bad for other people. So that's what I think. Now, I'm not some sort of expert on this, but I do live this out in my life. So if you want to overcome social anxiety, that is where you have to start. And that's basically the main point of this video, is understanding that you can't read anybody's mind. You don't actually know what people think. So that fear that you have is not always based on rationality, is not always based on reality. It's sometimes based on fear that they're thinking things about you that really, here's the thing, they probably don't care about you. And that's a good thing, because one of the things that you have to do in social anxiety, when you have social anxiety, to overcome it, is really get a good understanding of where other people are at. Because if you always assume that people are watching you, if you always assume that people are thinking about you, then you're not going to be able to really understand what's actually going on in somebody else's life. The truth is that most people are really only concerned about themselves and their own interests in their own life, and most of the time their attention, other people's attention, are not on you, it's on themselves and what's going on with themselves. So it's kind of a good idea to take that in mind, to try to understand where other people are actually at, that other people aren't really looking at you, other people really don't care, and that if you make a mistake in front of somebody, if you say something that doesn't sound right to somebody, that mistake is okay to make, and that other people won't hold on to it. Other people aren't, see, you are your own worst critic. You understand everything that you do, and you care a lot about all the mistakes that you make. Other people don't care that much, and that's really something that you have to be able to recognize in your life. So that's going to be my first little pieces of advice when it comes to how to overcome social anxiety. I have a couple more things I want to say. Another piece of advice is being able to distract yourself. So when you're actually in a group of people, when you're actually maybe you're giving a speech, or maybe you're just hanging out with some friends, or maybe you're around a group of people that you don't know very well. Or maybe, for me, I would sometimes not even leave my house because I was afraid of going to the store, because there's people at the store. So if I have to go shopping, it's not an easy thing for me to do because I'm doing something in front of other people. Wherever there's people, I'm afraid to go there because the spotlight is on me. So one great thing that you can do when you're actually there, when you're actually around people, is to distract yourself from what you think other people are thinking about you. So basically what this means is focus your attention on something in the outside world. Because here's the thing, the reason why you might be so afraid around other people, because you're afraid of what they think about you, is because your attention and your focus is on yourself. You're thinking about, am I doing everything right? Is everything going good? Do I look okay? What does that mean? That means that your attention is on you. Your attention is on yourself. So the idea here of distracting yourself when you're around people is to get your attention on anything else. Look at the birds flying around, look at a book on the shelf, look at something going on, or better yet, don't just look at something, actually engage in fiddling around with something and be like, I wonder what the heck this is, and just kind of mess around with whatever, get on your phone and do something, distract yourself. Why? Because that gets your attention on something else, something in the world, not on you, and not on imagining what other people are thinking about you. So this is all about, so this whole tip here is about distracting yourself and focusing on something that is not you. Because if you're focusing on yourself, if you are an insecure person with a low self-esteem, not very confident, you are going to always recognize all the mistakes you're making, all the flaws you have, and you're going to constantly be thinking about yourself and everything that's wrong with you, because that's what an insecure person does. I'm an insecure person. I struggle with this so much in my life. I'm always thinking about everything I do wrong all the time. Again, I am my own worst critic. And because of that, any insecure person is always going to be thinking about themselves all the time and everything they do wrong. So, with that in mind, knowing that you're so self-centered in your attention, try more to get your attention on other things. That will help when you're actually in the midst of being around people. The other thing is overcoming social anxiety. One of the biggest tips that's absolutely necessary is to be able to actually face your fears. If you're afraid of being around people, wherever you're at right now, everybody's at a different level. Some people can't even leave their house. Some people are just afraid of public speaking. Some people are just afraid in groups. Some people are actually afraid one-on-one. I'm not afraid one-on-one, but I'm more afraid in groups. I remember being in school and we would have a class where we'd have to go around in a circle and each say something about what we were reading. And when it got to me, I just put duct tape over my mouth. I was I'm not saying anything. I was almost I was so afraid of embarrassing myself around people and saying something stupid that I would rather not. And it just left me in an uncomfortable position. So whatever it is that you struggle with, you have to be able to face your fears. Now, what this means when I say face your fears, I mean confront that thing that is scary to you. What are you most afraid of? And you can't start with the biggest thing possible. like jump straight into giving a speech in front of a large audience, like like an actual real spotlight is on you. Like that's like extreme. Or don't try to go, you know, like don't do anything that is beyond just the smallest first step that you can take. So when it comes to facing your fears, sometimes you're just saying hi to somebody because maybe you're really quiet. Sometimes it means just walking outside, out in public to an area where there's lots of people, and just sitting there, just walking around, getting used to being around people, and again, distracting yourself. Just build up slowly to do this. And why is this so important? It's so important to face your fears with social anxiety because what you learn is that what you're afraid of isn't as big of a deal as what you thought it was to start with. And that's important because it's important to know that the things that you assume, the conclusions that you jump to when you assume you can know what people are thinking about you, it's when you assume that you're always going to be making mistakes in front of people and it's going to be embarrassing. When you face your fears, you'll oftentimes find out that everything works out fine, nobody really cares about you, and everything is cool. And that gives you the confidence the next time you're going to do it, to be around people and to speak up and to whatever it is that you need to do. It's important to be aware that sometimes you can be wrong. That sometimes in your life, the things that you're afraid of, it's important to know that there might not actually be anything to be afraid of. And that's good. So for me, like, I've really seen myself make progress by testing this out, and just it takes a lot of courage. But I remember like being at work and, you know, speaking to these people or doing a job in front of people even though I was really scared to do it. And it is scary, but it has always worked out great, and I've become more comfortable around people. I've become more confident in myself, and I'm not completely like good to where I have no social anxiety, but I'm in a much better place than what I've ever been at as far as my social anxiety, and I feel like I'm really doing a good job, and I'm really working on recognizing what my insecurities are and trying to get rid of those insecurities so I don't feel bad about myself all the time. And that is what you need to be doing in your life. So realize that everybody's not really thinking about you all the time, that sometimes you pretend that you can read people's minds and you can't really know what people are thinking about you. And it's important to know that I think that a big part of social anxiety is just having a low self-esteem. So start feeling good about yourself. Distract yourself sometimes. I mean, those are all the pieces of advice that I have for you. And that is it. If you guys like this video, if you want to hear more from me, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I'll upload more videos for you if you're new. And if you struggle with social anxiety, I want to know what your story is. Leave a comment down below and recognize that you're not alone. Recognize that there's a lot of people who deal with similar things just like you do. It is something that millions of people have. So, yeah, you're not alone. I want to thank you for your time, and give this video a like and share it, and I'll see you guys next time. My name is Kenneth Stahl. Please subscribe, guys. I want this channel to be a place where people like you and me can talk about this stuff openly, and it's a good community here. So thank you everybody. Like, I love you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Catch you later.